Hello, class. In this lecture, we're going to talk about file structures, how to create files and folders. You have a file or you have a folder that's going to be inside another folder. Maybe you have subfolders, right? And subfolders or subfolders, and you have some files in there. Basically, how do we create folders? How do we create files, right? There are probably several different ways to do that, but we're going to look at two main ways here. One of them is using your interface or your file explorer, and the other one is, let me close this, is using your command prompt by typing the correct commands to create your folders or your files. So let me go ahead and share my screen here. All right. So I'm going to just going to open up File Explorer here. And say I'm going to go to my documents. So typically, whatever folders or files you want to make, it's a good idea to put them in documents. Some people put their folders and files all over the place, but I'm going to say I'm going to put them in the documents folder. All right. So I want to create a folder, and maybe for my house or my family to organize some of our stuff. So typically, using the File Explorer, I can go to folder and type, I'm just going to say family, for example, right? I can do family, I can do home, I can do house. Let's just say family. So I make a folder, pretty easy, right? I double click on it and I want to make some subfolders inside that folder. So you can see there's some information to the right side, tells you there's nothing inside. So I'm going to make some subfolders. Here's the first one. I'm going to call this bills, right? Say electricity bills, internet bills, water bills, you know, medical bills, all kinds of bills you might get. I'm going to organize that way. I'm going to make another folder. Let's say this is for taxes. If you work and all that, you pay taxes. So you're going to put all your taxes in that folder. Then let's say one more. I'm going to call this, let's say travel, you know? travel vacation and stuff like that. Maybe my travel pictures are going to go there. Maybe my flight information or train information, things I need for my travel is going to go in there. So now let's go to bills and let's say we want to put some documents, right? We're just going to just do something random. So let's say go text document here. I'm going to call this electricity. So let's say that's my electricity bill. It's going to be there. Let's say I have my internet bill that's going to go there, right? So just a couple of files. So easy to make, right? I mean, easy to make once you know where you want to place everything. So again, go back to documents. I use the interface to create files, to create a folder. My folder is called family right here. And in the family folder, I just go to new and I create everything I want. So I got bills, taxes, and travel. I double click on bills. Very easy to click new here and add whatever you want to add, or right click on the page and add whatever you want to add. Pretty easy, right? If I hit the back button here, say I want to go to travel, um, I'm going to pretend that I have some pictures. So I'm going to use bitmap image and just say, let's say I travel to Paris, uh, an Eiffel Tower. Just going to pretend that that's um, maybe my picture of the Eiffel Tower. Let's say I have let's say I have another document here that is, let's say, places to visit, right? So I have a list of places we're going to visit. So I'm just going to put that document there. All right, when you hit the back button here, so in your travel document, in your travel folder, you can call it folder, you can call it, files, sometimes different names for this items. So in the travel, so if you see here, right? So talking about a path like your address, if I want to come to you, if I want to send you a package to your house, I probably have to have your name, your zip code, your city, your state, the street, maybe an apartment, right? I have to have the correct path to get that package to your house. Well, in a sense, if I said to you, go to my computer, and let's say I give you this path or this address here, right? Let me go to Notepad. Just going to click on Notepad. All right. So let's say I sort of paste this info here, right? And I say to you, go to my computer, and go to this travel folder. There's a travel folder on my computer. Just follow this path, and you're going to see a photo. You're going to see a photo on my in that location, and that photo is going to show you the Eiffel Tower, right? I guess that's the spelling. Did I spell that right? I guess so. So again, on my computer, right? I know that I have a family folder. I have three folders, three subfolders, and the travel folder, and that's my Eiffel Tower picture. So I say to you, maybe I send you a screenshot and I say, can you go to my computer? Maybe you're like my roommate. On my computer, just follow this path, and you're gonna see that picture of Eiffel Tower. Email it to me, or take a picture and send it to me. Take a picture of the picture you see. So to find this file, you're going to go follow this path. Now, what does this mean? That means you got to go to my computer, go to my C drive, go to my users folder, my Tire Banjo folder, my documents folder, family folder, travel folder, and you double click on that and you're going to see this photo of the Eiffel Tower, right? So pretty straightforward. In computers, that's a path, right? Path. Or we can say the file path, the file path. C colon, that's your drive. So you go to C drive, go to users, Tire Banjo, documents, family, travel. You open that up, you're going to see a photo of Eiffel Tower, right? So you should not be confused by that, right? So obviously, if I take this just to add a bit more info here, because this is going to be important when we go to the command prompt to see how we can make folders and files in command prompt. So I'm going to copy that here and show you what's going on. So here's the full path, right, of where the Eiffel Tower picture is. Now imagine if I took this out, right, and I say, go to my computer and follow this path here, follow this path, and get me the picture of the Eiffel Tower. Obviously, you're not going to see the Eiffel Tower picture there, right, because it is in travel. And the path that I gave you only stops at family, right? Suppose I do this here and I say go to the documents folder. If I give it this path and I say go to this path and find me the Eiffel Tower picture. Obviously, it's not going to be there because I have to still click on family, then travel, right? If I say just trying to help you make sense, this makes sense to you. If I say go to the Tire Banjo folder, obviously, it's not going to be there because you have to still go Tire Banjo, documents, family, travel, right? So hopefully that's making some sense. Okay, let's finish this up here. If I say, go to my computer and I give you just this path, this last one here, just this path, Well, you're not going to find the Eiffel Tower picture, right? Obviously, if you get the picture, you get the picture. You are following along and you see what I'm talking about here. The path is not complete. Like the address is not complete. If you go to C and you go to users, you're not going to find it. You have to click on some more folders to get there. And finally, if I say um, go to if I just give you this address here and say, go to my C drive and get me the Eiffel Tower picture. Well, obviously, you're not going to find it. So the path has to be complete, right? You have to have C users, C users, tire bancher, documents, family, travel. If the path and this slashes tell you, when you use your computer and you see those slashes, it means folder, 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 right? So obviously, travel folder is inside family folder, which is inside the documents folder, which is inside the tire banjo folder, in the users folder on the C drive. Make sense? Okay. All right, so let's go now to the command prompt and see how we do, how we basically make folders and files in the command prompt. All right, so here's my uh, command prompt. All right, here we go. So, so right now by default, you can see where the cursor is blinking, right? By default, everything on the left here is referred to as a prompt. So it's called prompt, P-R-O-M-P-T. That's the prompt. All right. So yeah, this whole uh, left side here, right? So you can see that right here by default, I'm in my tire banjo folder by default. So whatever I type after the prompt, whatever I type here, right, always starts after the greater than symbol, after this symbol here, right? That's where it starts, right? So when you look at the path that we just discussed here, right, you can see the location, right? C users, tire banjo, documents, family, blah, 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 right? So you can tell where we are right now. We're in C, users by default, tire banjo, and we're in the tire banjo folder. All right. So I'm going to make kind of different names of folders and files to demonstrate. So here's a command that you might be familiar with or not. There are a lot of commands when you use the command prompt uh, that you need to be familiar with. You might have the textbook, so research the textbook, research online. mkdir is to make a directory, and usually I like to make my directories, let's say uppercase, right? So I'm going to I'm going to create a folder. Let me call the folder. Let me just say computers. Oh, computers. All right, so I'm going to create a folder called computers. Um, yeah, let's just keep it that simple. So I hit enter. Now, when I hit enter here, it looks like nothing happened, right? It looks like nothing happened. Well, so unlike when you use the file explorer, every time you do something, you can see the result immediately, right? You can see that right away. When you use the command prompt, you have to type another command to move forward. You type a command to do something, you type another command to do something else. So obviously right now I have typed this command. I don't see any error messages. But how do I know that what I typed actually worked? You type dir. If you do your research using the textbook or online, dir means show me. I'm going to put a comment. So you see, when you type the pound symbol, that's writing a comment. This means show what I have in the folder, right? Or rather, let's just keep it simple. Show, or let's say maybe list, list everything, right? List everything or show everything. Maybe it's better to just do show. All right. Show everything. So dir show everything. So if I do show, if I do that, uh, remember I typed this pound symbol. So everything here doesn't actually affect my command. The only command I need here is dir. But just for notes, it's like writing a note to yourself. If I hit enter here, um, so you can see actually, sometimes I mix up the commands. This command is not good for writing comments. Just give me one quick second there. Um, where's my? All right, so yeah, that command is not the correct command. You can see that we had sort of an error there. So the proper way to write a comment is like a note, something you want to remember. Proper way to do that is you can, you know, you need to basically type REM, like remarks, REM, then you write comments, comments here, you know, blah, blah, blah. You hit enter. So that's a comment. Whatever you put here, it's not really a command. You put REM and then you type whatever you want to type. So moving along, dir, right? Dir is how we see a list of the folders of files that we have made previously, right? So right here, we type dir. And remember the prompt, you can tell that right now we are in the tire banjo folder. So when I do dir, it's going to show me everything that I have in that tire banjo folder. And everything I have is, you can see I have this packet tracer here. I have a SSH VirtualBox. And here's the computer folder we just made. All right. So dir is going to list everything. So if I want to write a comment, I can just do rem. You have to type rem first. Then you say dir is a command to show everything in the folder, right? So that comment is going to stay there. All right, that comment is going to stay there. And you know, one thing, one something you can do, because there's really no good way to save your commands and your work here. There's really well here it tells you you can, let's see, right click, export, or you can export the text. Um, but probably better for you to take screenshots. So if I want to keep everything that I have here for my records, I can basically just create a screenshot. If you click on search, snip tool. So I go to snip tool here, and I can just do a screenshot here of what I have, right? Copy that. All right, got it. So copy what I just did here. Say I could go to Microsoft Word, go to Word, blank document, and I can paste it there, right? So I can paste it there. I can leave it, I can write, I can paste it there for my records. So everything I'm typing, or if you are typing your work and you want to have records, or you're watching a Zoom video, you can just take screenshots of the lecture. And you can have as many screenshots as you need to have, just paste everything here. I'm just doing this randomly, right? So you can just paste all your screenshots there. You can see all the screenshots you have, and there'll be like a cheat sheet. A cheat sheet, something you can go back to when you're doing the work and say, what command did I type? So you go there and say, what's the command to see all my files? Then you go down this list and it's going to show you dir, and you can see the comment that you wrote there. You can see here that you typed dir here to list your files. So that's a good idea for you to create cheat sheets. When I say cheat sheet, uh, basically useful for reference, right? For reference, you go back and look at it when you're not sure, you'd forget what you're trying to do. You don't know what you can always memorize the commands in your mind. Okay. Oh, I realized that I probably wasn't sharing my screen in the last bit there. So let's just go back so you see what I was doing. You didn't miss a lot at all. So here's what I had. Share my screen. Oh, I guess I was probably sharing my screen, right? I guess I was. All right. Just in case you missed that, what I was saying was, for you to create a screen, for you to create a sort of cheat sheet, and then you can take a screenshot of your screen, go to Microsoft Word, and paste. You create a cheat sheet. You paste your screenshots there, like doing a lecture, or you see a YouTube video, and you want to remember what to do later or next time. All right. You create a cheat sheet and you can have all your screenshots in there for reference. It's like having notes. So either you write it out or you take screenshots of what you're watching, like on Zoom, a YouTube video, and you paste it, and you can go back to it later when you're trying to, do something and you don't really remember, especially with commands. Very easy to forget, but you don't need to remember everything. All right. All right. So hopefully you're following along, and we are trying to. So here's what we're trying to do. You can see that we made the folder, the computers here. All right. So let's just make this more interesting here. I'm going to type the command cls, which is to clear my screen, so that because there's too much stuff now. So I'm going to click cls. It clears it doesn't erase my commands and the things I've done before. It just gives me a clear screen to continue doing my work. So I kind of I have a diagram here that I just made. So when you look at this diagram, um, if you can follow along in this diagram, basically the lines tell you what is inside what. So for what you can see here, we have a main folder called class, you know, like, somebody's a teacher and you have a folder for your class. Now, when you follow the lines here, you can see that math is inside class in the class folder, right? The subfolder maths is inside class. Also, the subfolder English is inside class, and so math, English, and biology are folders that are inside the class folder. So if you follow this red line here, you can see how that works. Now, the grades folder obviously is not directly in the class folder. So math, English, biology are subfolders of the class folder. Grades is not a subfolder of the class folder. You can see how the lines connect. Grades is a subfolder of biology. English has no subfolder, but it has a file called teachers. Maths has a subfolder called students, and the students folder subfolder. Um, the student subfolder has three files called student one, two, and three. And also the grades subfolder has a file called gradebook.txt. So you can, I mean, when if you you can easily create this in Windows File Explorer, right? But we want to do this in the command prompt to see how we do it. All right. So like I said, two ways of creating folders and files. You use the command prompt or you use Windows Explorer. So let's see how this works. So first thing we want to do is we want to create the folder called class. So we go here again, mkdir, and you have class. All right. Now, always a good idea to check your work. That is, you want to verify, well, did I actually do anything? Did it work? So dir is going to show you if you made that folder. So you can see I have a folder here called class right here. All right. Okay, moving along. So following my structure here, so I have to create three folders, three subfolders of class, right? So now remember for this folders for math, English, and biology to be inside class in the class folder, I have to go inside the class folder, right? So I can't just type make directory here and put my math, biology, and English. I need another command so I can go inside. So class is right here. I have to basically open up the class folder and go inside and do what I'm going to do. The command for that is basically you have to change your directory, cd, change directory to go into the class folder. Change directory and simply type class. Now watch this. Watch this prompt on the, sorry, watch this prompt on the left side. Right now it tells you you are in the Tire Banjo folder. If I hit enter here, you notice that the prompt has now sort of changed or it has added class, which means I am now in the class folder. So your prompt is this way before, or the path, right? Remember the path? We talked about it here. Uh, we talked about the path here. So the path, yep, you should remember that. So now the path has added class. So now you know you're in class. Then you can now make your folders, make directory. You can now make your subdirectories, right? You have three subdirectories to make based on the picture, maths, English, and biology. So maths. So you can just type out all the names, all the folder names you need. You don't have to, you can do it one at a time, of course, but it's easier to just type everything at once. It's the same thing. Maybe saves you some time. So math, but English, biology, English, biology here, right? So remember again, very important, you have to go into the folder you are trying to um, place things inside of. So when we do make directory, it's going to make us the maths, English, and biology directories or folders. It's the same thing, folders, directories, and they're all going to be placed in the class folder. So hit enter here. Obviously, it doesn't look like anything happened. So you got to do what? dir, hit enter. And so you do dir, it's going to show you. So this is dir here. It's going to show you everything in here. So when you watch the path, now you're in the Tire Banjo, sorry, you're in the class folder. dir is going to show you everything you have in there. So we can see that we have the biology here, English, and math folder. So we're on track. All right, back to the picture. So now we have to place another subfolder inside maths. We have to place student subfolder inside the math subfolder. So subfolder, it's kind of like maybe you can say grandparents, parents, children, something like that, right? So we can say class is the grandparent, math is the parent, or maybe class is the great grandparent, grandparent, parent, and then maybe the text files are the kids, maybe. All right, so we got to, so now to put the students subfolder in the math subfolder, we have to go inside the math subfolder, right? So right here, we need to do change directory and go to maths. All right. CD math, change directory, you hit enter, and now you can see your path has now sort of changed or, added math. So right now you're in the math folder. So very important to pay attention to the prompt. So now you're in the math folder, what do you want to do? You want to create three text files, student one, student two, student three. All right, so here's a new command. So far we've used we've used cd, we've used dir, we've used make directory. When you want to make a file, echo, and then you type the name of the file. So student1.txt, right? Now you can list everything at once also, student1, student2.txt, and student3.txt, right? So you do echo, you type echo, you have this greater than symbol, and then you list all the files you need. Student1.txt space, very important. The space is important. The space is important. All right, so when you're happy with that, you hit enter. And to verify what you did, like did it work? Again, you got to hit dir. dir. So now you want to see everything inside the math folder, which should be three text files. You do that. Um, oh, I think I mixed up the commands there. Earlier, we're able to make three folders at once. It looks like it's not very happy with us making three text files at once because you can see that it just made student1.txt. So no problem. So let's just go back here and we can create the other two. So I'm just going to take this out. I think there's another command for that, but for right now, let's just keep it simple. So we're going to make the other file in here and then just make the last file student3 in here. So that should be fine if we do our dir now, hit enter. Now you can see that it's fine. So student1, student2, student3, right? So it looks like, whatever we did here is not correct. We can't, that command does not allow us to make all three text files at once. So if that fails, just make it one at a time. So echo greater than symbol, student1, then you do it a few times and get all the folders and files you need. All right. So moving along, back to the picture, you can see that, well, one thing you can do, just to be sure you're on the right track and you're following this structure, right now you're in the math folder. Let's go back to the class folder, right? And see the structure we have so far. So if you want to go back, right now you're in math, you want to go back to class, you just type cd and dot dot. You hit enter, you can see the path has changed, right? So you're in math before, you're in class, math, and now you're in class. So you're back, you CD dot dot is to go back. So right here, if you type tree and you type slash F and hit enter, it's going to show you the structure of what you have so far, right? So when you compare the structure, you can see that you are on track. Um, I mean, it's not exactly math, English, biology, but you still have you have your folders. It's kind of like upside down, but that doesn't matter really. I'm not concerned about that. Important thing is that in the class folder, we have biology, English, math. Same thing here. And then in the math folder, we have the okay. Well, we definitely messed something up there, right? We messed something up there. So this happens. So we're missing the students folder here because according to this design, the students folder has to be the subfolder for math, and then we put all the student text files in the student folder, right? So maybe you saw that and you were trying to talk to me. Obviously, I couldn't hear you. So let's go and fix that. All right. So, well, you might wonder, well, how do we fix this? Can we make the student folder and move the files there? Sometimes that's just too much work. All right. Just too much work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, because we don't need the files in the math folder, right? So first thing, let's make our make directory. I can show you how to remove files, right? So let's just leave that alone for the second. So we have to go into, remember, let's look at a structure here. We have to go into the math folder and then make the student folder. So CD, right? Maths. And now we're in the maths folder, make directory, and then we've got to make a student folder so that we're on track with the structure. We missed that step. It happens. If you miss the step, you go back and you fix it. All right, so make directory students with an S. You hit enter. And now if you hit CD dot dot to go back to do your tree structure again, you have to do that tree structure when you're in the class folder. So now let's go back and then you can use your arrow keys on your keyboard to go up and down, the up arrow, down arrow, so you don't have to type all the time. So to take you back to the commands you've typed before. So I want to see the tree structure right there, hit enter. And now you can see that we're getting back on track. I have to remove the students 1, 2, 3 because they're supposed to be inside the students folder, not inside directly the maths folder. All right. Let's see. Just give me a second how we do that. All right. So where are we at? So let's remove those files. So we have to go inside the math folder. So CD maths. All right. Again, if we do dir, you can see we have those files. So we don't want these files here because those files, if you look at this picture, are directly inside math. So it's a good thing we made the mistake. Helps us to learn a little bit more, right? So to remove those files, I got to do del, which is like delete, but short del. Then I got to type the correct name, student1 .txt, hit enter, right? If I do dir again, you should see that student1 is gone. So student1 is gone from there. Then I do dir, del, student2. Student 2 is gone, and I do student 3 should be gone. And if I do dir, now it's gone. So if I run my tree command again, I got to do cd dot dot to go back to class. Remember, everything I'm doing is inside class. So I want to see if the structure is, going along with the design here. So cd dot dot takes me back to class. I can use my arrow keys on my keyboard, right? Uh, to see why I'm here. So tree right here, hit enter, and now we can see that we're getting back to the trees to the structure, right? So we have class, we have we have the main class folder, we have biology, English, math, same thing here, and now we have the students. We've successfully put the students folder in the math folder. You can see the line right here. So student is now in math. All right, so let's keep going. So now we have to go into the students folder so we can place this student 123. So you do CD, you have to go into the maths folder first. And when you're in the maths folder, then you go into the students folder. And now you can see your prompt is now students inside math inside class. All right. So like I said, if you want to, you are following along with this lecture and hopefully you're typing along, always helps for you to type along. You can take screenshots and save it somewhere for your own reference later. So now when students fall out, now we want to create the files. So echo student1.txt. Remember, the command that we typed did not allow us to make everything at once. So let's just take it one at a time. So I'm going to, well, that was an error. When you type echo, so you can see we typed echo student1.txt and it just displayed student1.txt. You didn't actually create the file. So again, that's a good mistake in the sense that it allows us to learn. For this to be made into a file, you have to put the greater than symbol. When you just type echo something, it's like you just write it out. You're just writing it out. You're not making anything. You're just writing it out. And that's what happened here. All you did was you wrote student1.txt. That is not a file. That's just you writing something. For this to be a file, we have to use echo, the greater than symbol, and then we type the name of the file, student1.txt. You hit enter. When you do dir, now you can see your file was made. Okay? All right, let's keep going. We have to make two more files. So student1, you can edit that, student2, and then you do the last one, student3. So right now we're in the students folder. If you want to see if this is working, how you expect it to, it's doing its job so far, then um, you have to go back to the class folder and then run the tree command. All right. So cd dot dot, that takes us back to math. Cd dot dot takes us to class. You run your tree command, hit F/F, and now you can see that you're sort of getting back on track. All right. All right. So going back to our layout here. So now we have to go into English and place the file called teachers.txt. All right. So cd English, we hit enter. Now we're in the English folder and we just have to place the file called teachers.txt in there. So echo, remember you've got to put the greater than symbol, teachers.txt. That should be fine. You hit enter. If you do dir, you can see that the teacher's file has been created. If you go back to your structure, the tree structure always helps so you know if you're on track. You hit enter, you're back in class, and now you can do the tree structure again, /F, hit enter. And now if you compare with the design, you're on track because you have biology, um, yep, we're on track. We have, yep, we're on track. We have the biology folder. Uh, well, we haven't done the grades yet, but we're going to do that. So we have the math folder, it has students, and it has the text files, three text files. We have English, and we have teachers in there. All right. So now let's go to biology and put the grades folder, subfolder inside the biology subfolder. All right. So you go to CD, biology, hit enter, and now you can make your grades folder inside biology. So make directory mkdir, and you call that grades for biology grades. All right. You hit enter. If you hit dir, you can see that the folder was made, the directory was made inside biology. So now we have to go into the grades folder and put the gradebook.txt document. So cd into what you just made, grades, hit enter. And now the prompt tells you that you're in grades. And so you can echo greater than symbol and type your, what's it called? Gradebook.txt, txt. You hit enter. If you do dir, you can see that you have your gradebook in there. So this should be the last thing to do. All we now have to do is go back and look at our tree structure, and it should match what we have in this picture here. So cd dot dot, hit enter one more time to go back to class, and now you can run your tree command. Use your arrow keys to go back to your previous commands and look at that. So that should match what you are planning to do. You have the class folder. Inside the class, you have biology. Inside biology, you have the grades folder, and inside the grades folder, you have gradebook.txt, right? So this lines point you to folders. It looks like when you have a file, there's no line to file. There's only a line to folders. So it's a way for you to understand how the command prompt works. It's only going to create a line when there's a folder, but when there are files, it just lists the files directly under the folder, right? So you can see math, we have math, we have maths, we have students folder, subfolder, and then we have student 1, 2, 3. Biology, we have the grades, and then we have gradebook.txt, and English. There's no subfolder for English, just the text file, and that's what it is right there. Okay? Um, yep. So if you've missed anything, go back. You're going to have some exercises to do based on this lecture. So if you've missed anything, go back in the lecture, maybe type everything again. We made some mistakes, which is a good thing because you might make mistakes and then you correct yourself. And we've tried a few commands. Now you notice that we didn't use like 1,000 commands, maybe just a few. We used cd dot dot. We used echo. We used echo. We used dir. So just a handful, but you're going to use them repeatedly, right? Now, last thing I want to do is it's not in this drawing, but let's just say we want to go into the teachers, we want to go into this file and just write some teachers' names there. Let's just see how that works. So for us to do that, we have to go to the English folder. So cd English. Now we're in the English folder, right? Let's dir to see everything we have in there. So we have a teachers.txt file here. So for me to type something inside, I have to do echo. Then I'm just going to say, let's say Mr. Jones, right? And I'm going to, put Mr. Jones' name inside the teacher's file. And so now I have to put the teachers.txt. So that's how you do that. Echo Mr. Jones, uh, and you into teachers.txt. You hit enter, and for you to see what you typed inside the file, right? You have to type the word type. So type teachers.txt, and you can see Mr. Jones. Actually, it looks like we didn't need we didn't need this quotation marks because it's now appearing in the file. So we can basically do that again. So let's just run that again. We'll take out the quotation marks there, the quotes, hit enter, and then do type, and now it's gone. So here's another thing. If you want to add more names, for example, if I want to say I want to add, um, say, Mr. Jones, I'll say that's a teacher called Sarah, um, Sarah Davis. Now watch this, because I want to add Sarah Davis to Mr. Jones. So now we have two teachers. So I'm going to hit enter. I'm going to hit type, which is to see what's in that file. I notice that only Sarah Davis appears. Mr. Jones is gone from the file. That is because of one simple thing here, which is if you want to add to a file, you have to double up this greater than symbol here. Has to be two. If it's only one, it's going to replace what you have there. No matter if you have 1,000 things, it's just going to replace it right away. So you can say that the single means replace and double means add. All right. So right here, so now I'm going to do that, Mr. Jones, and it should add it to Sarah Davis. If I do type to see what's in the file, now I have Sarah Davis and Mr. Jones. If I want to add one more person, make sure you have your double greater than symbol. And I'm going to say this is Claudia Morales. Morales. Okay, so that's Claudia Morales. And I'm going to hit type to see. Now I have three, and I'm going to add one more person here and say that is Miss Elsa um, Miss Elsa Tigrin. Hit enter, and now I should have four. There you go. So that's the end of the lecture. We've tried a few things. We've created folders. We've created subfolders, made a few mistakes, which helped us learn. And we've tried to create the structure. And when we're done, we basically went into this teacher's text file and added some names and viewed the names that we made. Just to wrap this up, if I want to see visually what I did, well, I just have to follow the path, go into the go into the class folder, which should be in my Tire Banjo folder. So I'm going to go up here, go to my C drive, go to my Windows, go to my users, go into TireBanjo here. You can see the class that we made, biology, double click biology, you have the grades, and then you have the grade book, right? So structurally, it's fine. This is the visual look. In English, we have the teacher's file, and when you double click, you can see all the folks that we created, right? And then finally, we had the maths folder that has students and the three students files. So two ways to make files and folders and to create the structure. You can do this using the command prompt. It gets the job done. And you can do this using File Explorer. It also does the job. All right. I will talk to you later.